Hey hot stuff, I am coming at you today with a lot of super hot tips on creating greater self-awareness in your relationship patterns, because that is absolutely the key to up-leveling and shifting anything in your relationships that you don't want anymore. Honestly, if you can't see it, if you can't recognize it, you cannot change it. And stay tuned for number 4. It has the power to singly radically change your life. But who am I? I'm Susie Connerly. I'm a hypnotherapist and energy therapist in California. At this point, I have spent over 1,000 hours meddling in other people's minds, helping them shift their own subconscious and conscious awareness patterns. So to get started, number 1 is be willing to be uncomfortable. Why is this so important? It is so important because the wisdom, the growth, and the healing are on the other side of that discomfort. If you are not willing to spend time in those uncomfortable feelings and those difficult feelings and navigating them, you're never going to see what's on the other side. You're never going to get to that true nature of wisdom and integration within your own experience because you can't even go there. So practicing getting uncomfortable is actually really key. You know, you've heard that cheesy old saying, growth is not in your comfort zone, and it is so very true. But when we talk about relationship patterns, when we talk about self-awareness, it's usually the ways that we don't want to see ourselves or the feelings that we don't want to experience. You know, humans are all attracted to pleasure and we avoid pain. That's just sort of the nature of the way people are created, and it is a survival tactic in there somewhere. But on a day-to-day experience, it just becomes limiting because we're never really willing to go there. And we attract what's easy. We try to do what's easy, what's simple, what feels like the path of least resistance, but you're never going to learn anything if you can't really get uncomfortable. So my friend, definitely be willing to be uncomfortable in your relationships. Look at what you don't want to look at. Feel what you don't want to feel. Express what's uncomfortable to express, and you will find out that A, it's probably not as hard as you thought it was going to be in the first place. It never is. And B, there is so much growth and wisdom and integration on the other side of that experience. And to be quite honest with you, if you're never willing to get uncomfortable with it, it's probably just going to keep coming back, and sometimes in an uglier or a bigger reminder that you didn't deal with it in the first place. So definitely face it, be willing to get out of your comfort zone, and you will experience massive self-awareness around those things, those patterns, those habits. Number 2 is make a list. Get super organized with it. Make a list of your unhealthy relationship patterns. Make a list of things that you notice that you attract in relationships that are not good for you or that don't feel good, that you don't want in your life anymore. And write them down. It's going to sound a little bit cheesy, but when you start to focus your mind on what's not working, your mind then goes into problem-solving mode. It's like you give it a target to spend its energy on, and your conscious and subconscious minds will start to try to bring up, like a little computer, it'll try to bring up files for you to look at, things that you need to sort through and manage. And you know, like our old software, we need to get rid of the old software and update our system, right? Our minds are the same way. We need to give it some focus in order for it to start working for us. So if you're just being unconscious and not being aware of your relationship patterns, and you're just kind of living and trying to make things easy for yourself or going toward pleasurable or nice feelings, you're never really going to focus your mind on actually achieving and up-leveling into the next level of your relationship experience. So this is deeper, more connected love, more presence, more peace, more harmony, navigating difficult feelings and experiences with grace and ease. All of those things are available to you when you really start to focus on the relationship patterns that you no longer want in your life anymore. Making a list sounds very elementary school, but it actually works. So try it. If you're not subscribed yet, do it. You are going to see how when you focus and increase that awareness in the subconscious and conscious parts of your mind, how much you can achieve just by these simple exercises. Your mind really, really is the key to your growth, to your expansion, and you are going to be amazed. So number 3 is be a conscientious observer in your life. Start to almost play a role as if you were a person outside of yourself looking in on what you're experiencing in your life right now. Be in observer mode in your own life and start to just think about, if you were on the outside looking in, what would you think the person that you are going through what you're going through right now, manifesting what you are in your relationships, experiencing what you're experiencing, what would you think was going on with that person truly? What part of the journey would you think that they were in? What would you think that they needed to do next? Start to develop this almost like a third person view. And when you do, you will invite an objectivity into your life. So you won't feel like such a victim of your own life, victim to circumstances, reactive to the things that are happening around you. You will develop more consciousness and more separation, and that will allow you to respond from a place of greater peace, feeling more grounded, feeling more aware in your everyday life. It will feel wonderful, and it will allow you to make even better and better and better choices going forward for yourself in your life, because you will have that presence and you will have that perspective from the outside that you need in order to propel yourself forward even more. Very, very simple, but very, very powerful. And another benefit of this is that you're not going to be so hard on yourself. There's something magical that happens when we start to look at ourselves from the outside. We start to have more compassion for ourselves. We start to have more understanding for what we're going through in our experience. And most people are actually easier on other people than they are on themselves. We're so hard on ourselves, and you already have so much going on in your life, I'm sure. So why don't you give yourself this break and just start to observe yourself and have that love and compassion for yourself like you would with somebody else going through what you're going through in your life. So take a break, kid, and just be easy and love yourself even more by being that beautiful, conscientious observer in your life. And number 4, this is a doozy. This is massive, and it kind of requires its whole own video, and I might do one in the future, but start to see in your relationships where you unconsciously think that your worth lies. So every human, even though it sounds crazy, we have issues of self-worth, of value in our lives, in our relationships. So this is sort of like the unconscious reasons behind wanting to look good for our partner. Of course, it's attraction, but it's also a value-based thing. We think that the better looking that we are, the more money that we make, or the more established we are in our career, or the better husband or wife that we can look like to our partner or lover, that we're going to have more value to that person. It sounds insane to say aloud, but every single person has their own issues where they get caught up, where they feel like they need to be worthy in their relationships, be helpful, be a mediator, or be assertive and aggressive, or handle conflict, rescuing other people. We have all sorts of areas where we get caught up in our worth. And when you start to notice where you unconsciously feel like your value is to a lover in a relationship, it will change everything, because you will start to recognize where you're maybe showing up already trying to feel like you have something to prove. In the very early dating phases, people are usually on their best behavior, right? We're showing all these things that we want the person to believe about us. We unconsciously believe that we have to do that to have worth. It's not true. Of course, we all sort of want to have symbiotic relationships. We want to have balance. All those things are fine. But when you put your value in outside things, it's always going to be disempowering, and it's always sooner or later going to be disappointing to you, because it's a really hard thing to try to keep up this value proposition all the time in relationships. When we unconsciously do that, we're saying that we're less valuable when we don't have that. It creates a state of fight or flight in your mind. It causes you to compare yourself to other people. It causes you to have issues with social media, checking other people's social media, feeling less than. It's a veritable cluster for your mind. So trust me on this, just by seeing, just by feeling into where you unconsciously feel like your self-worth issues come into your relationships, it will change your life massively, because you can free yourself. You can free yourself from those burdens, but you have to be aware of them first. And if you want more mind hacks for healthy relationships, check out this video right here. If you're not subscribed yet to this channel, go ahead and do it. Until next time, I'm sending you massive love.